here?
What we have here is we have the Yukon Gold potatoes, and what we've done is we've cooked those with the skin on, boiled them, peeled them, and now we're gonna add a little bit of cream and butter to these to loosen them up, give them some more richness.
Goes great with that
right,
carbonade.
with the carbonade.
Wonderful. Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen. I'm your host, Tina Marie, and today I'm joined by Chef Robert Wiedmaier of Brasserie Beck, Marcel's Restaurant, both in Washington, D.C.
Both in Washington, D.C.
And of course, Bravo Restaurant, which is in Alexandria, Virginia, in the Kimpton Hotel.
And the Kimpton Hotel on King Street.
On
1600
King
King Street.
So we have 3 restaurants, and you're actually working on a 4th. So
I am.
You're one
How'd
busy
you find that out?
man.
Who told you that?
To the right people, right?
You have been. You have been.
So you have a lot going on. You're a very vibrant, interesting chef. You've been cooking, you said, for 32 years.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, isn't it?
Well, you don't look old enough to be cooking for 32
I
years,
know.
unless you were cooking when you were 5 years old, right?
Well, I was.
Well, you, interestingly, that's nice to know.
I was.
You have some Belgian roots.
I do. My father's 100% Belgian. He was born and raised in Antwerp, Belgium, and my mother's from California. And then my dad came to this country when he was 18 years old. What I'm doing right here is I'm incorporating butter and cream into the potatoes.
Oh, very
Okay?
nice.
So,
Butter and cream into the Yukon Gold
Into the
potatoes.
Yukon. You want them to be nice and smooth, but not too loose either, because we're going to have this on the base of the carbonade.
Oh, very nice. And it's nice and shiny, like in Antwerp, the diamonds,
Ah,
right?
yes,
Shiny
of
like the
course.
diamonds in Antwerp.
There's a lot of diamonds in Antwerp. All women know about the diamonds
Isn't
in
that
Antwerp.
true?
Yes. And they have very nice diamonds there.
If you mix your potatoes good, you might find some diamonds sitting in there, right?
We can make up a special dish here. Dig through the
Yes.
potato puree and find a diamond.
So you're actually been making for us beef carbonade.
Yes, it's a classic Flemish dish. It's a very hearty dish. It's a dish I like to prepare during the winter time. But
time of year.
it's a great dish when you're out doing outdoor activities and you can make it ahead of time.
Yes.
So if you're at home and everybody's coming out of the snow and you want to make something really easy, it's something to heat up easy and have it ready. If you're out hunting, which I like to do.
This showcases a technique that you'll be using is braising.
Braising, yes. Braising, like this piece of meat right here we have, Tina, it comes from a Randall lineback cattle in Berryville, Virginia, which is about an hour from my restaurant. And this cattle right here is a very unique cow because it's the only purebred Randall that probably carried the cannons across during the Civil War.
Wow.
And it's never been interbred with anything. So it's called Randall lineback. It's only grass-fed. It's on 700 acres, drinks out of spring water. And a gentleman by the name of Joe Henderson, who owns Chapel Hill Farms, is the one that's turned me on to this, and he's dedicated himself to these animals. And so a handful of chefs in Washington, D.C. use them. Because I like to find local farmers that have, take care of their animals.
Yes.
And I can get it to my restaurant. It's not coming from far away.
And you've developed relationships with these local farmers. And
That's correct.
You have very healthy, ongoing, years-long relationships with them.
Yeah, so a lot of people, unfortunately, the majority of the people don't have the opportunity to eat in really good restaurants. I mean,
Yes.
so they're unfortunately victims of what's out there. And there's a
Yes.
lot of bad stuff out there.
Yes.
And if you watch the movie Food Inc. and the future of food, and you start realizing what's going on in our agriculture business here in the United States.
It's a little scary.
You want to buy local.
Yes.
You want to go to your local farmer's market. You want to buy from a local farmer that's like Joe Henderson or Martin's Beef in Virginia that I buy my beef from.
Well, you've done the guesswork out of it, out for us. I mean, you've done the research, you've cultivated the relationships. So, if we eat at your restaurants, we know we can feel safe in the
Right.
fact that we're eating good quality food.
And it's about educating the staff. The waiters have to
Right.
be able to go out there and say, this is coming from
Yes.
Joe Henderson's farm, no antibiotics, no hormones, and they know what they're, and people want to know now.
That's right. Well, it's a more educated public now. It's food oriented. There's a lot of information available to people, and
That's right.
They know a lot.
And you're
So-
going to see more and more of it, Tina, starting to happen now, where people are going to be
We
asking
hope so.
more questions, and kids too.
Yes.
Kids are going to start asking,
it's
because there's a big initiative right now with the new administration trying to get people, chefs. They're getting Sam Cass, who's the executive chef for Michelle Obama, and just trying to get people to
think more about food.
think more about food.
Well, like on this show, where we're interested in educating the public about what you can share with us, tips and techniques in
Right.
cooking and food, and so it's all learning experience, and it's all very, very exciting.
Okay,
So,
now what we're
we
going
have
to do
our
is here,
beef.
is I've cubed this beef veal here.
It's actually veal,
It's a
that's
rosé.
right.
It's a rosé veal. It's a
Yes.
mature calf.
So it's a little, it's
in between.
Okay.
Stay tuned for more from the chef's kitchen.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna just put a little olive oil in this hot
Okay.
pan here. And we're gonna put a little bit of flour on this. We're gonna brown it, and then we're gonna add all the vegetables to it. Actually, I'm gonna get a bigger bowl here. So I'm gonna do all this. Right here. This is nice and organized here. We have everything we need. It's right at my knees.
Oh, you knew it would be, right? You knew. And I
So-
also hear you might want to take this pot home.
Yeah,
You
you
said
know what?
Really
You know what?
enjoyed that
Because
pot.
that's Steve's grandmother or his mother's pot, what is it?
It's our director's mother's pot.
See, I like that.
So it holds a very
It's
special
really,
place
really
in the
old
chef's
then.
kitchen.
If it's gotta be.
no,
it's-
no.
So I'm
You want
just,
to come back, don't you, Robert?
I do. I do. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of flour on here.
So
Okay.
it's lightly dusted.
Slightly dust a little bit of flour.
Pan's getting nice and hot.
Okay, what I have here in front of me is what we call veal stock, okay?
Okay.
Now, a lot of people are gonna say, where do I get veal stock or how do I make that? It's a long process to make. If you go to a lot of gourmet shops, you can buy what they call demi-glace or veal stock, or you can make it at home.
Could we use beef stock in
You
lieu
could,
of it?
yes, you could.
Okay, if we happen to have that on
You
hand.
could do that. And you want your pan hot, but not too hot, because otherwise
Okay.
you're gonna burn the flour here.
Okay.
So we're gonna let that cool down a little bit. What I have here in front of me is some of the vegetables. The carrots, the celery, the onions, and Parisian mushrooms, or what you call button mushrooms.
There's a lot of history. You seem like you love history. There's a lot of history about your restaurants too, especially dealing with the Belgian history. Brasserie Beck is an experience for the diner. It feels like you're in a train car, but that goes
Right.
back to the Belgian tradition of
Right,
dining.
right. Well, the brasserie, being a brasserie, when I designed that restaurant with my designer, I wanted it to be invoking a train station, because brasseries were in train stations. That's where you'd go have a cold beer and something light to eat or something heavy to eat before you got on the train. So when I opened that up 3.5 years ago, or 3 years ago, that's what inspired me to do my brasserie cooking. At Marcel's, it's very fine dining.
Yes.
So we're bringing it's multiple courses. It's an occasion restaurant. You go there for if it's a political situation or a book signing or an anniversary. It's a special occasion restaurant. Beck's is an everyday place. You go in
Okay.
there and you can,
It's comfortable.
very comfortable.
Comfortable, and you
Right.
probably it seat a lot more people.
217 people. So
Wow.
it's a big
large
restaurant. Where Marcel's only seats 80.
And then you also have your restaurant at the Kimpton Hotel
That's right. That's called
in
Bravo.
Alexandria, Bravo.
Bravo.
And tell me a little bit about that
Well,
restaurant.
Bravo was there's a fictional story out of Antwerp, Belgium. If you've ever been to Antwerp, in the Grand Place there's a picture of a young soldier throwing a hand from a giant. And Bravo was the slayer of the giant called Antigone.
Okay.
So he used to stand in the Scheldt River and make people pay a tariff, as the legend goes. And when the giant reached out with his hand for the money, he cut his hand off. And he's throwing it. So Antwerp in Flemish means to throw the hand. So Bravo was another tie into the Flemish cuisine.
Yes. Okay. And all of your restaurants feature the Flemish cuisine.
They do. They have,
Highlighted.
what we like to say is, it's French cooking with a Flemish flair.
Alexandria is a beautiful,
It is.
beautiful town.
Alexandria's a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with Bravo. It's Chef Chris Watson's my executive chef there. He's been with me for a long time. He's doing a great job. And
Is it your first-
it's in between Beck's and Marcel's.
Okay.
So Marcel's very fine dining.
Yes.
Brasserie Beck very casual. Bravo right in between the two of them.
And they at the Kimpton Hotel is your first experience with hotel dining?
First time I've been in collaboration with a hotel. I'm having my own place. I was with the Four Seasons for years, and then I was the chef of the Watergate Hotel for 3 years, and then I opened up my own place.
Very exciting.
So we're browning the meat. Okay. Just
But we're
browning
not
this meat.
interested in cooking it through, right? Because that will take place as we
We're
braise.
gonna let this cook for hours. So this
in the braising
in a braising
pot.
liquid. So
Okay.
we're gonna just brown this meat here. Okay.
For the
And then-
flavor.
In that pot, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the meat there, then the vegetables, and then the red wine, and let that all reduce. So we let this go a little bit longer. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this into here,
Okay. Right into
Okay.
the pot.
right into the pot. Now we're gonna deglaze this
Yes.
with a little bit of red wine here.
And these are some, you have an interesting wine and beer. There's actually an interesting beer program
There
at
is.
your restaurants
Brasserie
too.
Beck, we have 160 Belgian beers.
Wow.
And
160.
60 Belgian beers. And you know, we really focus on the Belgian part of it, obviously, because of my heritage.
Right.
And they're awesome beers. But
And apparently I hear you have an excellent wine list at Marcel's
we
too.
do. Marcel's features great wines, as does my Brasserie and as does Bravo. And you know, it's important to have, you know, great wine, great beer with great food. They go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And you know, if you don't put those two together, it's like missing a
trouble.
major part of your marriage.
That's right.
You know, so.
I like that comparison.
All right, so I'm just gonna let that do that. I'm gonna add this into here on top.
So you just deglaze it with some
Yeah.
wine, get off all those nice,
And we're still gonna use that. I'm gonna throw the
Meaty
butter in
bits.
here now.
good.
I'm gonna throw the butter in here. I'm gonna throw in the onions.
Now, which restaurant is this on
This
the
is
menu?
this is at Beck's.
I could see it at Beck's.
Yeah, this is
A
at
nice,
Beck's.
Hearty,
You go there,
rustic
it's
meal.
really, you know, it's just, you know, especially when the weather gets cold like this, you just really
Yes,
love a
this is
dish
what
like
this is
this.
the food you're craving there.
So celery, onions, carrots.
The classic.
I'm gonna throw a bay leaf in there. And we always use fresh cracked black pepper. And then we are going to add a touch of garlic here. Don't buy that garlic that's already
That's
peeled.
in the jar.
Yeah. That's
Not
no
good.
flavor. Try to get the, you know, that's the thing about cooking. As a chef nowadays, it's about sourcing and doing the right thing.
Yes.
It's easy to take, you know, shortcuts.
Well, it's interesting. You said that this is all now becoming in vogue, all the things you're talking about, like sourcing and getting everything fresh and
Right.
farm to table. But this is something that you have been doing for 32 years.
Yeah, well,
This has been the basis
right.
of,
It's always been, you know, buying from local people if you can.
yes.
And sourcing wild Alaskan salmon and, you know, wild Alaskan seafood. Trying to stay away from farm-raised stuff, you know, and I mean, as in fisheries. You know? So we let that cook a little bit. I'm gonna
Great.
add a little bit of Maldon salt to this. I love Maldon salt.
Malt and salt, tell me
Yeah,
about
Maldon salt comes from the UK. It's got a, as you can see here,
it. Smell that garlic in there.
you know, you taste a little bit of it.
Tastes
I mean,
different?
it's not really salty,
No,
but
it's
there
not.
and it's crunchy. I like
It's
to finish
not,
off.
and it's thin.
I like to finish off my dishes with that.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Very nice.
Now, if you can hand me that beer, Tina. This is a
Certainly.
Castile beer from Belgium.
Castile beer, Belgian beer. How lucky we are I get to taste some Belgian beer today.
Yeah.
Now, do you change the menu at your restaurants frequently?
Seasonally.
Seasonally.
At the brasserie, I don't change it as much because it's, you know, in a brasserie, typically you have a very large menu. So you don't want to change it too much because people go back there for that dish that they've had last time there.
Right.
At Marcel's, we change it all the time.
Right. Well,
It
it's
changes-
fine dining.
It changes daily.
Yes. So now you're a hunter. Where do you go to hunt? You
Well-
live in Maryland?
I live in Maryland. I fish the Chesapeake Bay.
Okay. Lots of great
Striped
there.
bass.
Sure.
And I hunt in Virginia for white-tailed deer, and then obviously we go down to the eastern shore of Maryland where there's a lot of ducks. And then I go down to Louisiana,
Oh, you go to Louisiana too?
to go duck hunting. Okay, now this is the Belgian beer, okay?
Yes.
So I'm gonna add a little bit of this into here. Now this has got a little bit of like, you know, bitterness going on to it. You know,
But we
it's-
like that.
It's good.
Because it's cooking down for a long time. Oh, it smells unbelievable.
So we just let that cook for a little bit like that. I'm gonna move this onto the fire now. Start to
Okay.
heat that up. Because Steve's gonna be eating this tonight. he's gonna come out here tonight
With a nice
and eat this.
big crusty piece of
Yeah,
bread,
he's gonna be eating it.
right? Midnight snack.
So what we want to do is let the alcohol cook out a little bit here.
Okay.
Okay, you know.
But you said the Belgian beer has a little bit of bitterness going on to it. I'm sure it has great taste.
Oh, it's got great
Right.
in-depth flavors of orange and coriander in it. Okay, so now we're gonna add this on top of this. Okay. I'll take this over here, back over the heat. Now remember, this is gonna cook for
12
10
hours.
to 12 hours, really
Right.
slow. Now, what I have here is the fond de veau or the demi-glace, what you call it.
Yes.
You can either use a concentrated chicken stock. If you have a good butcher shop, like we do at the Butcher's Block in Alexandria, we sell this. I think, like
Oh,
in
that's
here
right.
in
You
Philadelphia.
have a butcher shop.
I do have a butcher shop
That's
in
important to
Alexandria.
note because it's something that we don't find in this country anymore.
No,
really.
it's a shame
Very
that-
European.
What we've done here now is this just cooks and simmers. Now, when I make this at the restaurant, I
Right.
make this in a big, what we
Vat?
call a tilt skillet.
Oh.
Because I'll make 100 orders of this
Right.
for the brasserie. But you can do this for at home for 5 or 6 people, just like this. Some people have crock pots at home.
Yes, you could
can
use
do the
that.
same thing, put that in there, let it just turn
In
it
the
on.
morning.
And go away, come back, and it's done.
This is a great
Right.
meal for people at home, for working
absolutely.
mothers
Yes,
or
come home,
anything.
or if you're gonna have-
Yes.
even if you're gonna have a small dinner party here at home, you know, you don't want to spend you do the work ahead of time, and then at the night of the party, you can party.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not sitting
right.
there in the kitchen slaving away. It's
That's
all done.
exactly right. Now, in Alexandria, Virginia, at the Kimpton Hotel, what is your menu like at Bravo?
Bravo is very in between the two restaurants in the menu style. It's French with a Flemish flair. It's got, it's very
it's
country,
in-
a little bit of country.
Okay,
Like I've
but
got my
little
roasted
stepped up?
farmhouse chicken on it. You can still get pan-seared foie gras there if you want.
Is it Provençal?
No, not really.
Not particularly.
I'd say a little Mediterranean tied
Okay.
into there.
Okay,
And
so
then-
you've got a lot of things
Yeah, a
going
lot of little
on
things
there.
going on. My chef that works for me there has worked for me for 4 years at Brasserie Beck and then at
Okay.
Marcel's, and then he did a lot of Italian training.
Oh,
so
I
he's
see.
thrown a little bit of his Italian twist into it that allowed him to do, and it's been working really well. People are loving it.
So the possibilities are endless.
Right. So
at
we do like
Bravo
duck
there.
confit, raviolis.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, with like an orange tarragon sauce over top of it.
Little French.
Yeah, a little
Yes.
tight in between the two.
Very exciting.
So that simmers, okay? Now, what we do on the plate up here, we gotta do the bread.
Oh, yes. And you, as
gotta
you were
do the
making
bread.
this earlier, I said, oh, I could use some nice crusty bread to go with that. He said, well,
We're gonna do that.
it's your lucky day, right?
We're gonna do it. We're gonna put some bread right on here.
So now, is this bread that you make in the restaurant?
No, this bread actually I did not make in the restaurant.
Is this comes
But this
from
is a nice crispy baguette, but which we're gonna make even crispier. Now what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of olive oil here.
Okay.
Just a little bit. And of course, I love butter. Everybody's scared of butter nowadays.
No,
For me,
not
it's,
here.
It's butter, bacon, and onions.
The chef's kitchen is butter friendly.
Yeah, we
Thank
like
goodness.
butter. So we're just gonna let that cook a little bit, and then we're gonna brown this, and then we're ready to plate up.
Wonderful.
So we're just gonna put these in here.
So that was Yukon Gold potatoes.
Yukon
and you
Gold
had
potatoes.
Added cream to that
Cream and butter,
and butter mix.
Lots of butter.
How rich.
okay? We'll just put a little bit on here.
Beautiful.
And then Tina, if you could just turn that down for me a little bit right there on my right-hand side.
Certainly.
You don't want that to boil, you want it to simmer. If it boils, what'll happen, everything just evaporates,
Yes.
and before you know it, you have nothing there.
You have no liquid left, and we need that liquid.
you need that liquid.
to last for at least 10 hours, right?
Exactly. I want to try not to drip it all over your plate like I
Yes.
just did there.
Oh, but look at how rich that sauce is.
And then this goes right on top. Like this.
Beautiful hearty meal.
Okay, now I'm just going to touch it with a little bit of chopped parsley on top. Like this.
Fresh.
We'll turn these over here.
So this is how we can expect to have this prepared at
It'd be
Beck's?
exactly like that at Beck's. And now, what's interesting is I put a little dab of mustard right on top of it.
Oh, that's an interesting
Yeah.
flair. Is that
This is
a
Ghent-
Flemish flair?
Yeah, this is Ghent Mustard from Ghent, Belgium. Like, you have Dijon mustard from France.
Do you visit Belgium
I do.
often? Yes.
I do.
You get inspired when you go?
I take my staff over there quite often as I can, actually. It's
wonderful.
And I have a beer sommelier at Beck's that was just knighted as a
Really?
master of beer in Belgium.
That's fantastic.
So
Your staff gets quite an education.
It's all about educating.
Yes.
You know what? If they're not credible and they walk up to a table, if someone goes, "Oh, have you ever been to Belgium?"
Right.
No, I've never been there. Oh, okay, great.
What are you doing in
What are you doing at a Belgian restaurant?
brasserie? That's right.
And they can say, "Yes, I've been there. I've been to the Comte chez Soi. I've been to the Villa Laurent. I've eaten there." And people go, "Wow, we were just there." It gives the restaurant credibility.
That's
and
right.
it gives them passion,
That's right.
because this is all about passion. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, do something else.
Well, that's in keeping what we're about here at the Chef's Kitchen, educating everyone. All right.
Okay, so there we go. Again, I'm gonna hit that with a little malt and salt on top, because it just kind of like brings it all together.
Yes.
And then we just go like this. Voila. And here we have Tina and Robert's Flemish stew. Randall Lineback, actually.
Yes. It's his veal.
It's just as important for the farmer to get the credit as this.
Absolutely.
As the chef.
As you have taught us
That's
in our education today.
Right.
So let's enjoy some of this. This looks unbelievably outrageous. And I want some of that wonderful mustard you were just telling us
Yeah,
about too.
and then try the bread too.
You know what? The mustard.
It's strong.
It's a wonderful flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it unique.
It does.
Rich, rich flavor.
So, you know, you get everything together. You know, the potato puree, the beef, the bread, and the beer, or the glass of wine.
This and a nice hearty Belgian beer. That's a perfect day.
It would be. It would be. So,
Robert Wiedmaier, it has been such a pleasure having you on.
well, it's been fun.
I hope you'll join us again on the
Absolutely.
Chef's Kitchen. You have so much passion, you have so much history and interesting things to share. Hunter, chef, historian, great stories.
Thank
We
you.
really enjoyed having you here in
And
the
I
Chef's
just
Kitchen.
and I love doing this.
Great.
I love being if one young child or one young person can get something out of this today, that's what it's about.
We've learned a lot today, so we hope you'll be back soon.
I will. Thank you very much.
I'm going to eat some more if you don't
Good.
mind.
Go right ahead.
The Restaurant School is the exclusive partner of the Chef's Kitchen for the education and training in the culinary arts. Breakfast provided by La Va Cafe. Lunch provided by Cafe Estelle.
For the viewer who is passionate about food and wine, the Chef's Kitchen provides tips and techniques from the country's most exclusive restaurants. Tune in next time to see one of the nation's top chefs such as George Perrier, Roberto Dana, Jose Garces, Michael Schlau, or Tony Clark as they share their culinary talents and unique creativity. Learn how to make the delectable dishes and hip creations they're serving in today's restaurants, or impress your family with a culinary twist on tonight's dinner. Check our website for listings in your area or today's recipe.
Today, cooking at Chef's Kitchen was awesome. I mean, I had a really good time. Chef's Kitchen rocks, and it's got a great audience. And you know, a lot of people will watch this and hopefully learn something, learn a different technique in cooking. So kudos to Chef's Kitchen.